What's up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this POV review by AutoTopNL. My name is Max, and today we are hiding from the rain and the wind with the Mercedes-AMG EQE 43. This is the entry-level AMG electric car, and we really like the EQS. This is its little brother, so we thought we'd take it for a drive and see what it's like. So today I'm going to show you around it. We'll take a look at the spec, and then I'll take it for a drive towards the Autobahn for an Autobahn blast. Now, the EQE's styling is similar to the EQS, so you've got the cab forward, I think that is what it's called, styling. But is it a very handsome car? I don't know. I don't think so. I think the EQS looks better, especially in the right spec. But this, I don't know. It does have a hint of Prius about it, which I don't really like. Now, of course, because this is an AMG, you do get a lot of AMG styling elements, like the front bumper is a lot more aggressive, even though this, of course, is not an intake anymore, an air intake or something like that. But you do get the vertical slats in the grille, sort of Panamericana style, which the regular EQE does not get. So this is more like a sporty front, of course, with an AMG badge even right there. And then one of my favorite things about this car, the wheels. These are the 20-inch AMG wheels. This wheel I really like because it's like a 5-spoke classic AMG wheel with a bit of an arrow blade on there with an AMG logo. I really like that. 20-inch, as I said, 265 tires at the front. Pirelli P0 Elect or something like that. So it's an EV specific tire. But before we continue, let's upgrade the car to an EQS and upgrade the tires to these Hankook Ventus Ion SX. Welcome to Austria. We've been invited by Hankook to come and experience their all-new EV-specific tire. Development of this tire has been going on for quite some time because there are a lot of challenges with developing an EV-specific tire. Number one, the noise. You want it to be as quiet as possible. So they've added a foam to the inside of the tire to minimize the amount of sound that comes through the air within the tire into the cabin of the car. But of course, grip is very important as well. This is not one of those gripless granola EV tires. It is a real high performance EV tire that has to cope with these high output torque electric cars. I think this is one of the favorite things about EV cars for me. I think the way you are just completely zen and of course in touch with the environment. The tires have been produced in a very sustainable way and they use natural oils. It just fits this beautiful Austrian landscape as well. We've had a lot of fun. We were able to drive some different cars. We did some brake testing with competitors' tires as well. And of course, a big congratulations to Hankook. They are now the official tire supplier for the FIA Formula E Championship for the coming year. And the amount of research and development that goes into producing these EV tires, it is quite impressive. They've been working for more than 2 years on that Formula E tire, developing that, and of course everything they learn in that they are going to adapt to road cars, because Formula E cars have to use one tire. So they can have slicks and rain tires, they use one tire. So it is basically a road tire in the way that it has to perform in all circumstances. So we've learned a lot about rolling resistance, about temperatures, about range, about sound levels. So big thanks to Hankook again, and enjoy the rest of the video. And then at the rear, we've got, well, it is a bit shorter, of course, than EQS. I think about 90 millimeters shorter. So I think that kind of hurts it as well, because proportionally it's not as successful as the EQS, which proportionally is not a very successful car to begin with, of course, because it's all about the aero. It's all about making sure that you have as little drag as possible. But rear light wise, we've got this twisty turny light, which is quite cool. Little bit of a LED bar, of course. And because this is an AMG, you also get a nice boot lid spoiler, of course, to emphasize the sportiness. And because this car, just like the EQS, has been developed from the ground up as an electric car, all the batteries are in the floor. So you have a very decent boot. This is actually quite deep as well. Normally with these electric cars you see that the boot floor is very high and the boot space is limited. This has a very big boot compared to something like an i4, for example. This is, I think, a lot bigger. Yeah, we can look under the bonnet. And that is window washer, I think. Yeah, okay, so you can't open this, and that is why they have a window washing fluid container here, so you can fill that up, which is pretty clever. Yeah. So what do you guys think of this car? Do you like the way it looks? Let me know in the comments. The spec is, I mean, pretty decent, especially the wheels. The car doesn't even have that many options because the EQE 43 has quite a lot of options to begin with, which is quite nice. And I have to say, you know, size-wise, it's more like a CLS compared to the EQS being like a true S-Class. This is more like a CLS. It's a bit bigger than an E-Class, especially space-wise. For rear passengers, boot space is all very nice. Can't complain about that. All right, so let's get in, out of this horrible weather, and check out the interior. So the EQE AMG gets the optional hyperscreen setup, which this car does not have, but only AMG models have that option available. So the regular EQEs always have this setup, which is quite a nice setup already. You can see the new like Mercedes logos on the dash there. Oh, it's a bit wet from the rain. And everything has been backlit very well. So yeah, this is what Mercedes is very good at these days. Lighting everything up and making it look flashy, basically. But I have to say, interior quality is very nice. I do like this spec with this like dark gray, space gray I think they call it, which looks like Alcantara, but it is leather and then, or fake leather, and then red stitching to complement that. And the rest of the interior is just black with a big storage area down here, cup holders right there with a wireless charger. Yeah, I have to say the interior quality is very good. And then we've got the optional Burmester audio system, and of course beautiful air vents here that turn very well. That's so smooth, and then you can twist it to open and close it. Oh, it's like a little click. And this turbine design I really like. Yeah, I quite like the interior of this car. I like the EQS as well. Both of them are very quiet. This has air suspension as standard, but it has been set up by AMG. So if we go to Sport Plus, you get some more sound. And then you have the selection buttons on the steering wheel, of course. And we can even turn off traction control altogether. And if you are in Sport Plus, that means that it is a rear wheel drive biased formatting system. And that means that it sends quite a lot of power to the rear wheels, which I was not expecting, at least not this much. It is trying to figure out what it has to do sometimes, so you have to be very committed to the slide. I have done a couple of nice ones, but you have to be very committed. And then once you have the car in a slide, it is very easy to use your throttle because you have the instant electric torque and power going to those wheels, which makes it very easy to control actually, but you have to be committed to get it into the slide. All right, so brakes. That reminds me, because every time I hit the brakes, I'm like, what the hell is that? The problem is that they have this system with the alternator, which means that when you press the brake pedal, it is super clever. When you press the brake pedal, first it starts recovering energy before it activates the actual physical brakes. So that means that you have a brake pedal that has no feel whatsoever, and I caught myself a couple of times braking either too hard or too soft. which is very weird. So this is the top speed, 216, 210 GPS probably. 0 to 100, 4.2 seconds, which is actually possible even in this weather. We did 4.19. I mean, that is pretty damn impressive. And 100 to 200, we did an 11.47 second run, which is around the same time as a Tesla Model 3 Performance. So that is also not bad. It's about 0.2 slower than the EQS 580 we tested a couple of months ago. So performance-wise, it is not bad. It's got a 90.6 kilowatt-hour battery and a dual motor setup. That is why range is down compared to the EQE 350 Plus long range, which has a range of like 659 kilometers maximum. This is at 530 at a maximum. So it's like between 480 or 460 and 531 is claimed by Mercedes. So yeah, you do lose a bit of range, of course, because you have the same battery pack as a 350 but with more power and a dual motor setup. But you do gain quite a lot of power because the 350 has 292 horsepower. Alright, so now we are going to demonstrate the most ridiculous feature on this car, and probably of any car in the last 10 years, launch control. Oh my god. It is so over the top. It sounds like you are leaving a roller coaster in a theme park or a race computer game. I don't know. I'm just missing like the dee, 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 dee. Oh, that was a very good impression actually. But yeah, the car starts shaking a little bit and you have all kinds of different sounds. It is a lot. It is a lot to take in, and I understand that they have to try and, you know, try to do something with this, because performance wise, yeah, it is quite fast. 476 horsepower, 850 newton meters of torque. It is quite a bit, but it's not overwhelming, and when you've done it 10 times then you're used to it. So they have to try to find these other gimmicks to make it interesting, to keep it interesting for a longer period of time. And you also get that ridiculous sound on the outside. So yeah, people are going to laugh at you basically. There's also an AMG EQE 53 available with like 670 horsepower, which is a lot faster than this, but has an even lower range. So the EQE 350 Plus long range is the one with the biggest range. If you want the biggest range, that is the one to have. And the EQE 53 is the fastest one at this time. AMG is also going to build dedicated electric cars apparently, that have nothing to do with Mercedes-Benz, or that don't have an original Mercedes-Benz model that they're based on. And they're also going to build SUVs. So EQS SUV has just been released, and the EQE SUV is coming as well. And you can see now in the electric car range of Mercedes, you can see that you have the EQA, EQB, EQC, which are basically cars that are based on existing models, adding batteries and electric motors to them to keep it, you know, relatively affordable for them to build. And then you have the EQE and the EQS, which are dedicated built electric cars with the batteries in the floor. We've got air suspension as standard as well on the AMG models, and super clever electric motors with a lot of sound deadening, acoustic isolation in the car. And the motors themselves have some super clever stuff as well, like a lot less cobalt use, and charging at 170 kilowatts, so that is quite quick as well. But your range will go quickly, of course, when you do these Autobahn speeds. Although I have to say that it does so quite well. 210, I mean, it's not that fast, but it's quiet, it's stable. It's just not as comfy as I was expecting. Of course, the EQS we did was not an AMG, so you can feel that the damping in this car has been tightened up. It has been stiffened up a lot to make it feel like an AMG. And I'm not sure if that is the right approach, because I think they should move more towards the old AMG, like my E55 AMG, like very comfortable air suspension, but still good performance, I think that is AMG as well. They don't have to make it like an A45 setup. It doesn't really fit the car that well. I think it should be more comfortable, but that is just my opinion. All right, so that is the end of the Autobahn, which means fun is over. And that is the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed this quick introduction to the EQE 43. I am looking forward to check out the 53 because this car is fast, but I mean that 53 is going to be a lot faster than this still. It also has a top speed of 240 kilometers an hour instead of 210. So if you want to check out another video, you can click this one. This is a playlist of reviews, and you can subscribe by clicking the big button in the middle. Please do that if you are not subscribed yet. Really helps us out. The more subscribers we get, the cooler the cars. See you at the next one. Bye.